You, yo.
I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
All right.
Remember what you did. Write that shit down or something.
Yeah. You can still hear me, right?
Yep. I can hear myself too.
Good. Huh? We are live. I'm here and I'm heard now. Let's go. Always ask the wifey when everything fails. When you don't know what the fuck going on and you can't figure it out, hit the wifey up. She tells you how to get it done. That simple. A Lannister always pays his debts.
Summer Shandy. Tastes like beer, lemonade, and summertime. Line and Kugels. Flavor the moment.
To the end, nigga, I move for you, I spit for you, whatever you with, I'm with it. I ain't never off a nigga, nigga can't be with the city. I do a lot of, never you with me. I do a lot of, damn my nigga, you tripping, we could have been superstars. I remember we was jacking cars, and now it's not safe for you. You snitch like a pussy little. Damn my nigga, you tripping, we could have been superstars. Remember now, reminiscing, now when we was jacking cars.
I hear it now. I'm on the
Not
right one
safe for
now.
you.
All right, let's get to it. Late night, man. Here's the franchise guru. Late night show. Maximilian co-hosting as always, man. The real talk show, man. Season 7. We're in about episode 4 right now. And 3 season, 3 weeks. So 3 game terror. Let's see who's on 3 game terrors right now, man. As we take a look at the league and what's going on right now. Obviously, early on standings through 3 games. The Browns are sitting at 3-0 with a 105 point score, only give up 78. The Cardinals sitting at 3-0. They scored 139 points, gave up 89. Ravens 3-0, 167, gave up 50. Dolphins 150, gave up 62. Giants are undefeated. Saints are undefeated. Bills are undefeated. And they're the top 17 with no losses right now, early on right now in the 3 game terror. That's why I call it a 3 game terror. A lot of guys undefeated. Jaguars sitting at 2-1 at 10, and the Broncos are at 2-1 at 10. At 9 and 10. Falcons, Chargers, Jets all on the outside looking in right now. And Jets are 2-1 right now too. Man, schedule up right now, right? Let's see how these these teams started off 3-0. Got to go through the schedule and see what they did. But we'll get to that point right now. What we want to look at is we want to look at our top performances through 3 weeks right now. Jeff Sims is on top of the passing leaders list right now, Max. 62% completion, 1547, 19 touchdowns. He's two years removed from his short season stop where he had to go to rehab. He's 2 seasons removed for that. Do you think he's back to being Jeff Sims before the rehab? Is he back to that type of situation? We did have that happen with a player in real life. Brett Favre had to go through that on painkillers. Sent him to rehab, got his shit together, came back and dominated, had a Hall of Fame career. Um, what do you think, Max? Man, this guy, he's back. A couple seasons removed from his sobriety. He's pretty good, doing his thing. No relapses, no issues right now. Do you think now he's back to being able to focus on football and football only? And is that a good thing for the Washington football team?
The thing that's different about a verbal vacation home, you always have the whole place to yourself.
I would say that he's definitely showing signs of being back. Definitely a great sign for the football team. It starts with their quarterback for them. I feel like on offense, his ability to make plays with the offense.
Yeah, I think this team, the focus, man, the focus on understanding, NFL, how to play the game, the things that it took to be great. They got to get back to that. They put some talent around this quarterback, offensively and defensively over there in Washington right now, man. They have a super exciting kid that everybody is thinking that's going to be the next great pass rusher for the Washington football team. Let's talk about Nicholas Harbor for a second, Max. Again, the moment they drafted him at number 3, are we looking at a guy that can possibly be one of the best rookies this year, AFC and NFC side?
I would say definitely. Rookies period of the year. Coach Madden had
A true rookie, right? Instead of AFC, NFC, we have a true rookie of the year. He's a generational talent, though, right? And the things that they can do with this kid should bring a new dimension to this defense, to this whole team. Period. What I think, though, I just think is lighting up the city of Washington right now. I think they are. They're excited about football again, man. This team has played with their fan base emotions, man. They give them a season where they're a playoff team, and then they go out. This team has given their fan base a ride out of this world, man. They in a car that go fast, and the driver won't drive it fast, if that makes sense to you. This team has played really well in the beginning of the years, and then dropped off for years, and then they become a playoff team, and then they missed the playoffs, and they have their issues up front, stage and center, so that they have to control and get around. I think they're back, though. I think they're back to being able to just focus on strictly football and allowing the football stars on their team to do exactly that. When you think about Washington football, you think about draft classes, you think about some of the things they did, and moving and making trades. Like some of the moves they made, you would have thought like, oh my God, they busted moves, they did what they're supposed to do. But then we had, guys like Boone Jackson, who still currently on his roster right now, that completely underachieved to expectations of him coming out of college and what we thought he would be. But he found a new position at fullback. How does that work for him, and could that rejuvenate his career?
I feel like, generational talent, you don't necessarily let them off your team. You maybe just shine a different kind of light. I feel like this could be definitely a revival of his career, depending on how he's used, and how consistent it is, and if he can be a true weapon versus the teams that he needs to be to make a strong presence this year.
The first thing is you got to buy. He has to buy into. Do they have when it comes and to get a player to buy into, you have to. It has to have. They have to have good leadership, and it starts with their coach. So if their coach can get him to buy into, he can add another 3 years to his career by playing fullback. And, just because he's on the roster at fullback doesn't mean he still can't get handoffs and be the back and certain formations and things. But I do think scheme, leadership, and getting him to buy into the transition of that move will determine where this team goes. The problem is this. He's such a good player, and still, even at 29 years old, he's still a good ass player. They have to be able to scheme him into the play, right? Don't you think so? Like, don't they got to find a way to, get him, somewhere between 5 to 7 touches a game.
Yep, I would say 5 to 7 touches sounds about right. 5 to 8.
This team has, they don't do too much trading. When they do the trading, is a quick trade. It's a draft situation. Like they don't really look for players that are on other teams. They're homegrown. They get their guys through the draft. They build those guys, and they continue to build them. And when you do things like that, you always got stash and wait to play the players, right? Um, and one of the players that come to mind with the move of Boom Jackson moving to fullback is their scat back running back K Wills. Max, with Boom going to fullback, this guy becomes their number two back, right? And their third down back, the guy that catches the ball out the backfield. He can also help in the run game. How big of a season you think he has to have? And do you think because now that they're calling on him, is he ready to go? And can he have a big season in this offense as a third down back right now with Kevin Williams?
Um, I feel like him running into a solid role as a third down back could really be beneficial for the offense and for his morale. Um,
For five
I
years,
like,
actually for 6 full years, well, five because this is a 6 year. It'll be a seven. So we'll say 6 years. He's been a punt return, kick returner. He really never really touched the ball. If you really look at his production, it hasn't really been there as a running back. How do you get a guy that really hasn't been utilized in the backfield to be ready to do it this season? But no numbers really as a running back, but he's been very very much part of this team with special teams, whether it was punt return or kick return, coming down on kickoff. Now he's thrust into the lineup because as well as I know, third down running back you got to count him as a starter for the most part. Now how do you get that? Again, the way you got to get Boone Jackson to transfer over to a fullback and get him to buy in. I wouldn't think it would be as hard to convince Williams to get ready to play because this is something he's been waiting for since he entered the NFL to be able to be looked at as a running back and not just a special teams guy, right?
yeah, I would definitely say so. I feel like, I mean, at this point, you just kind of gotta force it, like not force it, but kind of gotta go all in and buy into the fact that you got a guy that a lot of guys really have a solid player, and somebody that can be beneficial for the offense and for the team. So you just kind of gotta get the flow of him catching 5 to 7 carries a game, and then that puts a different focus on the offense, makes you a little bit more versatile. Um, when you line down to play some of these teams.
Yeah, I agree. As we talk about teams, a surprise team that we need to be talking about are the New Orleans Saints. Max, what is what is it that's happening in New Orleans that has the New Orleans Saints not only 3-0 with a big time game against the Cleveland Browns. This is a game that should be circled. This might be a pick'em game. This is important for the Saints or the Cleveland Browns. Which one you would say? Who has the most riding on this game? New Orleans or Cleveland Browns?
Um, I would say the Saints in a way. kind of getting off to a hot start is something we haven't really seen all the way with the Saints. They might start off maybe like 2-1, or depending on who they play, maybe 1-2. It depends, like mid-season mark. But if they can go on, I don't know what their schedule is, but if they can get a win here, 4-0, you get that morale going, you get some things happening for you, and you can go into maybe on a little run, a little stretch, and that could be big for them.
I agree. So I wanna say this. Anytime you start 3-0, I don't give a fuck who you play on your schedule. Starting 3-0 is a big thing. I mean, it really sets the tone of what your season should be. But when you start 3-0, it's something you have to dive into. You have to talk about it. Is this a for real team this year, or is it the opponents this year? So let's take out what the Saints do. My thing is, if you're playing a lesser opponent at it, that's not, up to your caliber in a sense, you better put it on them. And if you look at these scores, I don't know where this 5 times came from. He played the computer 5 times. Come on.
Either that or they had a really good
Nah,
season.
because baby boy not playing. He don't got a remote control. His controller broke. He played the computer 5 times. Get the fuck out of here. All right. So anyway, Steelers, Bengals, 49ers. Now you look at the two opponents right away. Two AFC North opponents. The Steelers is back. They used after not playing for the most part last season. They're back now. He put up 56-24 there. They go into Cincinnati in 52-17, and 5 times or not they come out of that game 57-41, giving them a 3-0 start. Now all the teams they play outside of the 49ers, and because they're not really playing right now, but this is the only playoff team so far that they played. Everybody else had a losing record. Actually, now the Bengals did had a great season last year. They actually improved their season last year. But now you get into the Browns, Cowboys. Like, this is the schedule you already play now. So not only was it important to start 3-0, but they're having very very much pretty decent stats. We talked about it yesterday. Two receivers that's going crazy right now. Their quarterbacks look really good right now. But now you about to play teams that got defenses right now. Teams that you gonna have to pull some more tricks out to be able to beat. Right? Browns, Cowboys, Falcons, Bucks. So your next three are legit ball games right now. So if you're the New Orleans Saints, Max, how do you manage your team going into the game of the week, and then behind that you're playing one of the better defensive teams in the league, and then you're playing a juggernaut in the Falcons. How do you get yourself prepared to take on these next three opponents?
Trenches. I feel like just putting the emphasis on trenches, establish a run game. In these next 3 games, 4 games, see what that run game entails for you, but still be able to be yourself and be explosive. On the defensive end, I feel like with these 3 teams, more or less the Falcons, you got to be able to also stop the run. So trenches, I feel like is the key for the Saints these next 3 games.
All right, now let's talk about the Browns and their 3-0 start right now. We know the Browns are capable, right? The Browns have beaten some of the better teams in the league. The Browns have been a playoff team multiple times in this league. What's their mindset when it comes down to the Browns? Me, I think it start with the AFC North first, and you can't point your finger nowhere else but the Baltimore Ravens. They have to find a way to take on the division champs for 14 years straight.
Yeah, that's their only thought. Like they've had their more or less games with other teams in the league, but you start with division first, and you start with your conference, and then so on and so forth.
No doubt, no doubt. What type of is I want to call it pressure, but like what expectations should the city of Cleveland have for Matt Corral this season?
Um, at least a division, at least.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say he has to be able to show that he can
It's
do.
good with the Ravens.
I can see that. His season though, he gotta have a. I think he gotta have a breakout year. Have we seen Matt Corral yet on a breakout season? In your opinion,
Not really.
I think he has to have a top 10 finish this year for them to take it to the next level. When it comes down to the quarterback play, he has to make the team forget. He has to make the city of Cleveland forget about the quarterback that was their starter before he took over from them. Right now, he's off to a pretty solid start. This is very, very good football right here. 839 yards, 70 completions, 95
Solid.
attempts, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 73% on the year.
Being a 3-0, this is solid.
When Matt Corral is throwing for 300 something yards a game, that to me wasn't is not good. It wasn't good. The stats show that when he's throwing for somewhere between 350 to 400 yards a game, they're not winning more games than they lose. I think 279.7 yards a game right now, that 8.8 yard average, that's their offense. But I think when you're not throwing the ball, the majority of the game, and they can't, incorporate that run game with it. I think the less passing yards they have, and the more efficient he is throwing the ball, and incorporating that run game changes the win loss column for this Cleveland Browns team. So what I'm basically saying is I think they should be somewhere between 250 yards, maybe to that 300 yards per game, and somewhere between 19 to 25 carries with their running backs. I think if they balance their offense like that and their numbers look like it look right now, and they can continue this look, I think this team will be sitting right in the playoffs, and looking at any opponent as lunch meat. Really, like we really can do it. I think they got the roster. They had some guys in the Pro Bowl last year. They did a pretty good job last year, finding players to step up and really lead this team. I think they can continue that. But I do think, the less passing yards for Matt Corral and a higher completion percentage, look like it's looking right now, leads to them being more successful in the win column. How do you feel about that?
I think so. This sets the pace for their offense, allows them to be fully within their playbook. And when you're comfortable within your playbook and you can put randomly down, win drives, win quarters, win ball games, put you in a good situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree. All right, so let's talk about that matchup, the Saints and the Browns. And I asked you earlier, who's this game more important for, the Browns or the Saints?
I went with the Saints, yeah.
I agree with you. I think the Saints have to show us that they for real, that they can beat a team that's for real. I think the Saints have to show us that that they're taking steps. Right. What I'm seeing from the Saints is, for years, Max, on our shows, we've been talking about the Saints and how they can take a receiver and a quarterback combo and have that receiver be a top receiver in the league. But we didn't see them put it together where they they draft a guy, he goes bonkers. His second year he goes bonkers. Then they draft another guy and they repeat the cycle. But what happened to that guy that was going crazy for the first two seasons? How about he go crazy, and then you got another guy that you bring up in the same way of the rookies you have that you develop in two seasons. Now we're seeing it with Troy Franklin, Stankin Franklin, and they got Amari Clark. Both of these guys are playing at a high level right now, in the passing game with Khalid throwing the ball to these guys. That's the step we wanted to see. The next step we got to see from them is, what type of running back do you guys got? And again, like you said, in the trenches, let's start offense first. How good are you guys when it comes down to having to put a game away, where you need to put a 10 to 12 play drive together, and in that 10 to 12 play drive, you need to eat the clock and you need your run game to be there. Is there a guy in the Saints backfield that should come to mind when it comes down to playing, smash mouth football, to be able to win ball games late?
Need to know questions. You need to, well, yeah, need to know questions.
I think this is one of the most important questions we ask in the night. Period. Right? Is there what guy is there? All right. You know they drafted Fletcher last, not this draft, but the draft before. He's in his second season. He's a big time back. He's the type of back that can run power football. He's the type of back that can downhill runner. Big body, 6'1", 240 pounds, super athlete as well. Catch the ball well out the backfield. Right now he's averaging 7.6 yards a carry, but in those 3 games, 17 carries ain't the answer. Because you're going to have to carry the ball when you play the Browns, when you play the Cowboys, when you play the Falcons. You're not going to throw the ball, 30 times in that game and come out looking successful how you have been. Khalid Williams is great, but the defenses get better, and in that sense, you need a guy that can run the ball right now. So again, I ask you, they got some running backs on here. Some of them we don't really know much about since they've been in the NFL because they're sitting on a roster where they're not really being used, right? Earl Peppers was very highly sought after coming out in his draft class. He doesn't have a carry at all this year. We see Armani Goodwin right now, the speed back, a little shifty back with 6 carries, and then right now Mark Fletcher's the guy. When you look at Mark Fletcher and you look at the build, we're looking at a guy that, in my opinion, 95 speed, 95 excel. We're looking at Boone Jackson in a sense, coming out. You know what I mean? You get why I'm saying that.
I do.
Is this running back can take their offense to a different level?
With the right guidance, I definitely think so. It's a little bit of things I see that I would like better if it was my running back.
Okay, so explain that to me.
I mean, he's got the +3 on carrying, 87 carrying is his true carrying though, and the 87 break tackle. He's very strong though, still with 85 strength. I like that. And just really the break tackle at that size, you would think it'd be a little bit higher. Um, for that full-fledged fall forward effect. So that would be one of the only things really. It's still not nothing minor, but like I said, with the right guidance, that should get developed.
But with a full year under his belt, break tackle should be higher than that now because if you should be working him into that. Like there's ways to be able to get that, from an 87 to a 95 in 5 to 6 games if you're doing it right. If you're training and doing the right things and giving him the carry. Listen, you want your back to be a dog. He has to be able to touch the football. Period. Simple as that. You got to put him in situations. I know this team. They could throw the ball from the pocket. They roll out. They love the crossing route concepts. But what happens when you got to give a running back 25 carries and you're not going to outrun the defense? You got to better run through that defense. And in their division, they're going to have to do that. You got the Panthers who can run through your defense with 30 to 40 carries. You got the Bucks who has a legit backfield and a great running game. I mean, they're historically great when it comes down to running backs in Tampa Bay, right? You got the Falcons who they use their back as a receiver back, but he had 1,500 yards last year, E.J. Smith. And you would think, with the Falcons understanding that the run game is important, they're going to use him even more in the run game. The Saints, to me, have the worst run game in their division right now, and for them to be, explosive the way they are on offense because they are explosive in the passing game, they have to better get this run game going. And I just can't see why you would draft a 6'1" guy and don't see his potential. Where is the 30 carry game at? You get what I'm saying, Max? Like, where's that 30 carry game at when you got a guy built for it? Give him the fucking football and let him take your offense to a different level. Because the better he runs, the less interceptions you throw, the least turnovers you're going to throw because he's going to control the ground game, man. We know you can do it by air, but you need to show us you can do it by ground. And I think in those next 3 games, first the Cowboys, first the Falcons, even versus the Browns, you're going to have to run the football to be successful. And I think, if you want to be a playoff team and you want us to believe that this team is truly as good as it's looking right now through your first 3 games, you have to show us you could be able to be a complete offense, be able to do it through the air and through the run game, and be efficient in the process of it. I like this Saints team. When you look at the receiver numbers, they're going fucking crazy. They're splitting between 2 receivers. Amari Clark, this will be his 3rd season, and then you got Troy Franklin, this will be his 5th season. Both these guys 8 touchdowns. Jay Macklin. Remember Jeremy Macklin back in the day? That's his nephew. And then you got tight end Jalen Lay, to me, who's a stud tight end, and that they can get involved. We're seeing that the running back Armani Goodwin is their receiver back, 9.8 yards a pop right now out the backfield. They got weapons, and these weapons right here seem like they ready to go. Um, and again, I just think in the run game right now, 7.6 yards a pop. You got all your carriers right now are averaging 7 yards or more, which is great. Um, but we think we need to see more out of Mark Fletcher. He's a Florida native kid. He's a monster. Took his travels from Florida to Ohio State. He played for a really prestige high school out there in Florida. So the light tank is not too bright for him. We would like to see him getting it going right now, and I think if they do the right shit with him, could they get what we? When was what was the last big bat we seen? Uh, get money because we had a lot of big backs that came out this type of size, like big backs like this that was in the bus. Now we saw last year the Factor Baxter out there, Mile High, 230 plus, running crazy. But can Mark Fletcher? I know last year was his rookie year. He really didn't get a chance to do it or didn't do it. Was he even 1,000 yard back last year? 346 yards. Well, his average per carry is up now, 7.6 from 4 yards a carry last year. 3 fumbles. Look like he was starting off fumble problems. But we need to see 230 carries out of this guy, and on that average of 7.6 going in. So let's talk about this matchup between the Browns and the Saints. What we do know is the Saints quarterback is playing at a high level this year, and they got 2 receivers that's playing like they're both going to be the number one. What do the Browns bring to the table in this matchup?
You said what now? The last
What
part.
Browns? What do the Browns bring to the table in this matchup?
Um, Patient offense. And as far as I know from their defense, they kind of play pretty good defense. Wait for you to make a mistake, and then go down and still run that patient offense and kind of set you up for frustration at times. Bill Walsh offense, as we've already known, but
I like this. I mean, we thought Trayon Webb, he redshirted last year, and I do think he's going to be a big part of this offense this year. But the guy that's surprising, and we've been saying that this kid been a bust, and it's because he just never really got it going. He had a guy in front of him that really kept him on the sideline longer than we expected Brian Robinson Jr. to be. But he 49 carries, 213 yards, 4.3 and 5 rushing touchdowns this year. He's trying to prove that he could be the number one over there. And I think he has to prove it because he got a guy like Trayon Webb breathing down his neck right now because this kid is on paper, he's legit. He can get it going. He can get it going, and I could see him being like the starting running back before it's all said and done this year. If Brian Robinson don't continue to have this pace, can 4.3 yards a pop hold Webb off the field? Although Webb is only averaging 3 yards a carry right now.
I wouldn't let it. I would try what. Gotta get more than 9 carries.
All right. So Jordan Addison is starting to prove his way as the number one receiver over here, and that's all he been asking for. Jordan Addison, he got drafted high for the Chargers and traded before that season even started to the Baltimore Ravens, but really never cracked the starting lineup for the Baltimore Ravens. And he demanded a trade. He's been demanding a trade since his 3rd season as a Raven. And now he's somewhere where, not only is he still in there at that division, but he's somewhere where he can be the number one guy right now. And I think they absolutely found it. Remember last year at the end of the year, I was like, is it Keys, the number one receiver over here, or is it Addison? I think we got that answer right now, Jordan Addison. When we at a stage of the dish where everybody got aliens at cornerback, right? Everybody got them. Secondaries, aliens. How do you get guys to stand out? Well, is Jordan Addison in the perfect offense?
He's definitely in the offense that shows enough just love that you can't really focus on one player, but yet there is a number one on the field. If that makes sense.
Can he be Jerry Rice to Montana or to Young in this West Coast offense?
In a way, yeah.
Me personally, I think he has to be. I think he has to be. The Browns have to find a way to make any opponent that come in the building, whether you, if you're a guy that before you play a game, go look at guys' rosters or look at their stats and see who you got to worry about, or you're a guy that just play the game and as the game go, you realize who you got to worry about. The Browns got to make Jordan Addison be that guy that you have to worry about. The way you worry about him is you realize early in the game that you got to worry about this guy, or you done watched the stats and prepared for the game and realize this the guy that we got to take out of this game and put our best guy on him. I think Jordan Addison, you got a guy that can make plays after the ball's in his hand, and what I would like to see, he got 100 yards run after the catch right now, 4.8 rack yards right now, right? I think that needs to go up, especially in the West Coast offense. The whole West Coast and that offense they run over there is predicated on a receiver catching the ball and making yards after the catch, right? Because they're not throwing deep down the field. You're not going to see Jordan Addison with 30 yards a catch, 28, 26. You're not going to see that type of stuff. What you're going to see is a bunch of tight end numbers through their receivers over there, and it's because of their style of offense. But what he could do to take this offense to the next level is the murder guys. You know how when drags kill you, they don't kill you if you catch it and get tackled. They kill you when a drag gets 8 yards after the catch. That's what Jordan Addison has to be, in my opinion. And then in that process, he also has to be able to build a top offensive defense as well. And he has all the tangibles to do that, Max. What is it for him and Corral to get on the same page where they can, pretty much, you could put a blindfold over Corral and he understands where Jordan Addison will be at. Like, how do they get that type of relationship, that type of connection to better make this guy scary and dangerous and one of the better receivers in the league this year? Because that offense needs to have one of the top 10 receivers in this league.
I would say you kind of got to like force feed him here and there. Like not every game, but certain games that he's like having a hot hand, let him dominate. Let it be natural where you let the hot hand be the hot hand, and you move the ball through a receiver and make people either cheat towards it or start adapting to it, and that's when you can kill him with other things.
I agree and disagree with what you're saying. I agree with the latter part of what you said, but the beginning part of what you said, I don't agree with. Here's the thing: you can't come out and call your plays, and you go to a formation and you pick the play, and then you go. You have to be able to sub this guy in the spots. You know what I'm saying? Your plays, if you got 6 favorite pass plays, and every pass play out of those 6, you got your first read. He has to be that first read. So that means you got to move him during formation stuff during the game. You get what I'm saying? Like, he has to be moved around to make him effective. You can't just come out and he's the number 1 receiver, so he's always on the square side, or he's the slot receiver, so he's always in the slot. He got to better play everywhere. Like, and I think if they can do that and get an understanding on what they like to do play calling wise and put him in the best spots to succeed, I think that right there will rise his play, period. And it'll also give Matt Corral a better sense of what's going on during that play as well. So that's why I said I agree and disagree with you, but they got to find ways to get him the ball. And even when it's tough, they got to find ways to get him the ball and get him going. I think if they can get him going along with that run game as well, I think this team really can achieve, some high goals this season. I like the matchup here because I do think the Browns had 2 guys in their secondary last year that were playing well. But Max, do you see a cornerback on this team that can give them what they got out of Denzel Ward for years? Is there a guy? I mean, Akeem Dent from Florida State. Is this the guy right now?
I think Dent could be the guy. He would be what I would think to be a top corner for them.
I like it, and they also
They
brought
also
in.
have Revis. I was about to say they
They
also
brought
have
Reeves
Revis.
Island, yeah, like they got him still on ability. So they bring a vet over here that gave them 12 interceptions last year for the Cardinals. So they bring a vet to help out with this young secondary, right? They also bring in Christian Irons and Ed Reed the second. They bring these guys in, ability or not, they're playing them on the field right now. So that gives them nothing but experience in that secondary. I think this secondary got better, and this is the reason why I think the Saints is going to have to run the football because they got guys that they might not have the abilities, but they have the experience to still be great players. They didn't lose their stats and their attributes. They just lost the ability to be able to acrobat or you know or play the deep ball better, or you know what I mean, or playing the flat, whatever the case may be. They lost that ability, so they're playing off natural talent, but their overall and who they are still there. I think it was smart for the Browns to do exactly this: grab guys that dominated at their positions for the teams they play for, and then you add those type of guys with guys that have been here, and I think you're putting yourself in a good situation. As far as when it comes down to interceptions right now, they got four guys that got picks, and Island Reeds, uh, Sands, and Reyes and Sands played well last year as well. All those guys with it. When you look at the Saints, though, they're a different course. They have a outside of one guy I think over there in their secondary. Um, the Saints are young in the secondary, and they got dogs in the secondary right now. Like these guys have been picking, players that are top at their position coming out in the draft, right? I think the still pick is Jada Barron. He came out on X Factor 3 years ago. Um, and he's playing at a high level now. I think the game slowed down for him. He finally caught up to what he wants to be. But Keon Sabb was one of the number top safeties in the draft, his draft class. Hameen Anderson was one of the top corners in his draft class. And you see these guys playing really well right now. 2 interceptions from both of them right now. Even their young rookie middle linebacker. But Orlando Jordan is the only guy with super experience in that secondary right now. I mean, even Corey Palmer is over here. I like this young Saints defense. I think they have some very athletic guys that can make plays for them. So let's talk about the difference of a veteran defense in the backfield in the secondary versus a young up and coming secondary right now. Who you like better when it comes down to having to stop the passing game? You think the Browns are better equipped to stop the Saints passing game, or is vice versa? Saints are better equipped to stop what the Browns do in the passing game.
Um, it's a little bit interesting. I would say the Browns might be more equipped on paper to stop Saints can do. But I don't know if they'll scheme correctly to actually stop it.
Scheming is everything, right? I think if you match up Imano, man to man, that in a sense that can be easy for you because you don't have to really make reads. You just got to follow your guy, right? But you're sitting in zones. It really comes down to are these guys are high aware enough to be able to stop a West Coast offense? And you got the route concept that's going to happen, and then it comes down to this: the Saints are going to have to stop the same type of routes he likes. If you're gonna practice all day long, the first thing you learn how to do is stop what you like to do, right? Most guys play this game and they cover the holes of what they like to do. So if they doing something on offense, they don't want to get beat that way. So they play their defenses to stop the stuff that they like to do themselves. So my question would be is what could the Browns do offensively to be able to break that mold where they're going to be like, oh, I know crossing routes and things like that. You guys run that well over there, so I know y'all equipped to be able to play those situations. But we're still going to bring it at you no matter what, and you got to show us you can stop it. You got to show us your guys are smart enough, or to be able to put the brain with the bronze, if that makes sense. You got to better put your brain, use your brain. These guys got to show that they've got high football IQ, and it starts with the coach. I like this matchup. I don't know. I don't have a winner here. I don't know. Do you have one? Who you have winning that week 3 matchup? Because this is the play of to me, this is the game of the week.
Um,
Saints.
I'm gonna go Saints.
You got the Saints beating them. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with my AFC companion, man. I think I'm going with the AFC North. I think the Saints, you know, you know the feeling of playing 3 computer games and then you come and play a user and you forget that your first 3 games was a computer game, so you come out and play loose and the way you played to play the computer, and next thing you know you're in a dogfight or you lose that game to the user. I'm not saying they had 3 computer games, but I think it's that feeling. They've been so explosive on offense. I think the moment they got it is dialed down because somebody's playing you in a way where that shit ain't gonna be as easy as it was. I think they're gonna have to fight through that. I think the Cleveland Browns is going to win this game, and I think they're going to do it because they're going to be balanced on offense. And I think they'll bend but don't break on defense. I think the Saints is going to go marching up and down the field. So when the Saints come marching, and they're up and down the field, but what happens when you get closer to that red zone and those the plays are harder to run. When you're in the red zone and you're forced to make a decision, go for it or kick a field goal. And I think the Cleveland Browns, the way they play offense, can score in the red zone. And then I also know we're looking at 3-0 teams, right? And when I talked about these 3-0 teams and I said how much they scored and how much they gave up, if you look at it right now, the undefeated teams, let's just look at the undefeated teams right now. 3 teams have given up less points than the Browns. The Bills at number 1, the Giants at number 2, Dolphins at number 3. Sorry, 4 teams, and the Ravens at 4. 78 points given up. So they're not giving up a lot of points per se in 3 games. And then when you look at the Saints only giving up 82 points as well, but they scored 165. Now, the Browns only get scored 105 points so far, right? But I do think if we could see red zone efficiency, and I don't feel like going to that, but if we could see red zone efficiency, I think the Browns in this game is better suited than the Saints right now. Why are you picking the Saints?
I don't think the Browns will be able to fully get a grip on the Saints. It's like the Saints are going to this game probably disguising a little bit of run, just enough to allow them to still be able to do the shit that they want to do. And I just don't think the Browns will be able to adapt quick enough to seal a game off. They'll have chances, I feel like, but I don't know if they'll be able to really take advantage of it.
All right, so pretty much what you're saying is the Browns and Saints barely play each other, but in that sense, you think the Saints will recover and play better because the Browns don't know them as well.
To a point, yeah. Like, definitely their unfamiliarity. Sure. Well, I think play in the Saints' favor.
All right, so I got the Browns, AFC North. We're going to show up and show off, and you got the Saints in this game. Let's go to the schedule here, week 3, and continue to go down the schedule. I know we only talked about that game, but personally, I don't see how that's not the game of the week.
That one and this one.
There's some matchups here. You got the Falcons and the Bears, Cowboys and the Bengals. What do you want to see from both these teams? Start with the Cowboys first in this game. What do you need to see from the Cowboys on the road, week 4?
Dominance.
All right. And on the flip side, what do you need to see from the Bengals?
Attack mode. You know what I'm saying? Protect your home. Protect the home stadium. Go out there, play smart football, but be on attack mode. Don't let the Cowboys bring the punch to you.
I think the Bengals need to build off of what they did last season and continue to take that next step forward. And I think the Cowboys need to show us that roster that they put together in the last 3 seasons is ready right now. And to be able to be ready, you got to dominate teams you should dominate and give problems to the teams that you're not supposed to beat. So I like that. Another good game. This is a tricky game as well, too. Football team Steelers. Let's talk about this. Steelers are 0-3. But football team is 2-1. Who needs to win this game more?
Football team.
I was going to say the same shit, and you would usually say, "Oh, when 3 team needs to win, right?" But the football team got to win this game because these are the games that they lose more than they win. When they play an opponent that they should beat and should handle, they usually disappoint us. So I agree with you here. What does the football team need to do to stop this pistol offense that comes from Pittsburgh? Because they got a stifling defense over there, right? Really good defense from every level, from the front four, the front seven, and the DBs, right? They got better in their secondary, but I don't know corner wise. They did grab a dog out of this draft, but he's a rookie and he's going up against some really good studs at the receiver position. This matchup to me is a tight end matchup. You still got Shannon Sharp over there, and you got the young boy over here that's going crazy for the football team in the first 3 games.
I'm gonna say tight end and running back matchup.
All right, so it's 2 styles. You got a big power back, Amari, right? And then on the Steelers, they got the kid from Ohio State, the speed demon, and their backfield. They both got dual threat quarterbacks. I think the Steelers use their dual threat quarterback a little better because the football team is looking to run their quarterback don't when the pass breaks down. The Steelers coming out, they got a pistol offense. They're almost like the Baltimore Ravens in a sense. The way they run their offense, they run it through read options and a lot of pistol play. So their quarterback will be engaged in the run game as well. But then you're going up against the front seven of the football team defensively. With a young quarterback that's trying to prove himself as a starter in this league, and some I don't know, but that football team defense comes into this game. They both got good defenses, but football team has a great defense. Wow, Max, this matchup. I mean, you're looking at a secondary that's playing way better because of the front seven right now for the football team, and the Steelers are pretty much unproven right now. But you say the football team got to win this game in the worst way. What do they got to do to win this game, not to lose it?
Um, Clean football. No air turnovers. Um, yeah, protecting the football and throwing picks. Um, Establish a run game because the other team against you is going to do that in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. Um, and then on defense, I would just say flat out play smart football. Don't don't put yourself in bad situations and personnel. Um, yeah, that would be about it.
All right, what players? Let's get out of schedule for a second. What do you think is going to be the best, the funner matchups to watch? Is it going to be the tight end matchup here in this game, the running back, or the quarterback duel?
I would say the running back.
All right, so again, Jeff Sims is off to a great start. I mean, 515.7 yards a game, 62% is the only thing I don't like. 19-5, not bad at all there. We averaging 16 yards, almost 17 yards to play. He's been sacked 9 times in 3 games. That's a little concerning for me. When you look at the Steelers and their quarterback play right now, he has to turn it completely around right now. Demetrius is not showing that. I mean, this is, you know, a dual threat quarterback that throws the ball really well from high school and college. But not it hasn't translated yet in the NFL. Um, you're not going to win ball games like this. Period. What do the Steelers have to do to change this look up over here right now? 324.7 yards a game. In my opinion, they might be in the same sense in the same category as the Browns in a sense where maybe you shouldn't be throwing the ball. If you're throwing the ball for 300 plus yards and you're at 49 completion percentage, you're not doing a good job of throwing the
I
ball.
was just
Or
about to say, I think the answer is to go back to the basics. Trench work. They got to run the ball.
they gotta run the football, man. They got to run the football, and they got to do it. I mean, I mean, Demetrius in 3 games has 105 yards. He's averaging 8.1 yards a carry right now. And Henderson and Herschel is averaging 6 yards a carry right now. This is where your game got to be played at. Listen, everybody want to have fun playing this game. But what do you play the game ultimately do? When you match up against another guy, you're looking to win the game. So you got to do the thing that's going to win you the ball game, period. Now, I'm not saying come out here and don't throw no passes because you're not going to better play the football team in that defense and not throw the ball. You're going to have to. They're not going to give you the run as well as you want it. But you got 3 guys that are capable of, giving you first downs every two carries. So let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to it right now. And right now, if Henderson is the best receiver on your team right now, to me, that's the problem because Alec Pierce. Now Shannon Sharp can draw matchup problems right now. They got a speed demon that can stretch the field, 24 yards a catch right now. But Alec Pierce is their number 1, right? This is their guy on the outside as receiver. When you look at the football team secondary, they got 3 or 4 corners that can match up with any one of your number 1 corner receivers over there, any one of them. So the matchup issue, I think, is on the football team side right now. But when it comes down to play, though, if your run game's working in that pistol, what makes the Baltimore Ravens dangerous? What makes that style of play dangerous? It's the tight end in that offense, right? And Shannon Sharp can give them that. At 18.2 yards a pop, that's really good for a tight end. So I think they got to find a way to run the ball and get him active in this game. And then on the flip side of it, you go back to the football team and what they got and they can bring to the table right now. Christian Watson is their number 1 receiver, 9 touchdowns right now. But in his second season, Deuce Robinson is a man-child at tight end right now. 23 catches for 507 yards and 4 touchdowns max. This guy's playing really good football right now. Who do you like better, Deuce Robinson or Shannon Sharp in this ball game? Experience versus dog athlete.
I would take Deuce.
I like DR2, man. I think DR2 is going to be a problem. And I think he's going to be a problem the entire year. And why he's a problem is because they have 2 tight ends that are like that. And Jalen Skinner was the number 1 tight end in his draft class as well. But I think DR2 is really going to have a breakout year this year and starts, for the first 3 games. And I think in this game, we're going to see somewhere between 7 receptions. I think he scores 2 touchdowns in this game.
I can see that possibly.
Now, whose pass rush is better? You got Thibodeau over there. You got it's Thibodeau. I'm missing the name right now. Another Florida kid whose dad played for Florida State. Oh my God, who's the other DN over there for the Steelers? That's pretty good. I was going to draft him. He stole him from me. Thibodeau, where he at? He ain't got no stats right now. They got the number 1 D tackle in his draft class, right? 3 drafts ago. Here you go, Marvin Jones Jr. So they got the number 2 defensive end 3 draft classes ago. They got the number 1 D tackle and Walter Nolan, and then they got Thibodeau over here as well. And in their secondary, they got guys that, to me, Malik Red here now. They got a guy that they can count on to be the number 1, but he's a rookie. Man, when you see this pass rush and then you look at the football team's pass rush with Shamar Stewart, with Harbor there now, Julian Jones, you got Mafe, we're missing Angelo Falk. They got it, Max. But what team is going to show up in that matchup is my question. So talk about Thibodeau being the number 1 defensive pass rusher in the draft class, his draft class. Is Thibodeau is he a bust right now, or is he the guy? What do you think? We haven't really talked about him at all, like since he's been in the league. But is he a bust, or is he having a good career start? Start to his career.
I think he just had a little bit of a late start. I do remember him having 10 plus, I think. But also with the head coach.
But Max, we're talking about the number 1 pass rusher in his draft class and the first Madden draft class of real draft that we had. We're talking about the number 1 pass rusher. And you saying I think he had a 10+ sack season.
I just don't necessarily remember because the coach, has their moments where we kind of lose them for
So right,
days.
but here we go. 6.5 sacks year one, 6.5 sacks year two, fell off year three, 4.5. But then since then, 11.5, 11, 13.5.
I was about to say, I just remember him with more sacks in the latter couple of years. I was about to say,
Right.
yeah, so still.
I don't think he's a bust. I just don't think he's playing to the best pass rusher in that draft class status right now. But he's not a bust. He's solid, and he gives that defense the Steel Curtain look a little bit with Marvin Jones Jr. on the other side of him.
Yeah, double-digit sacks. He has double-digit tackles for loss.
Right. Now, when you look at the matchups, right? When you look at Thibodeau and Marvin Jones, then you ask yourself, Shamar Stewart and Angelo Falk. What do we? Who outside edge rushers are better?
Um, see,
Because they both got. I mean, like you really look at it. Let's stop at Walter Nolan for a second, and let's look at him and see what he's been doing over the short little four
Shamar's
seasons.
young, so
But
it's like,
but we're not mad at this. I mean, he had to me, this is a breakout season. 56 tackles, 19 tackle for losses last year, 4.5 sacks from the D tackle position. I think he's getting it now. I think he got over his freshman and sophomore year. Right now in his third season, he played well. I mean, he has 5 tackles right now. No sacks, no tackle for losses. That's a little concerning for me in the first 3 games, but he might be taking a little bit slower to get going. But I like his pace right now. I'm not complaining about it at all. And then we go down to Marvin Jones, who's in his third. This will be his 4th season. He already has 3 sacks on the year right now. So I'm telling you, we're looking at guys that can get after it right now. I mean, now 4.5, 5, and 3. We want those numbers to be better, completely better. But like, I'm not mad at it. 32 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 42 and 6, 21, 26 and 1, 5 sacks. He's going to beat that 5 sack mark this season. And they're capable, man. They got really good speed rushers on the edge right now. I don't think they trump at all the guys. Now remember, Shamari Stewart is playing defense end for the first time. He started his career off. He was drafted as a D tackle, and now they moved him outside to play defensive end, and he has 2 sacks so far, 2 tackle for losses. The guy they moved in the middle to replace him at D tackle has 2 sacks right now. Harbor coming off the edge, even though he's showing him at middle linebacker, he's outside linebacker. Mafe with 4 sacks, and then Angelo Falk with 6 sacks right now. I think the pass rush for the football team is crazy right now. My thing is how much their pass rushing ability. I think is going to be cut in half this game because I think they're going to get the ball ran at them a little bit more because of that style of play that the Steelers come with. And in the process of that, you're looking at guys that have tackle for losses too. So most tackle for losses is stopping the run, right? I know my fucking joystick died. God damn it! Let me charge this motherfucking joystick. All right. So let's talk about this for a second. Steelers or football team wins the ball game.
I think the football team has to win by at least 10-point margin.
All right, so I want to ride out with my AFC division guys, but I'm not going to ride out with them either in this game. I do think the football team will win this game. I think they will win this game and set their season up to be 3-1. And I do see them winning by. I think they're going to win by 10 points as well. In this matchup. So in this matchup, when I say a name, I just want you to tell me what type of game you think they'll have. So let's start with Jeff Sims. Not what type of game they will have, what type of game they have to have.
A good game. Well, a great game. I put it in context of good, great, exceptional, and heat and slack. really have to show up.
When I'm done my show, I don't know. I'm in the middle of it. All right, so I think Jeff Sim has to have a. I don't think he has to have a game managing game. I think he has to be a playmaker in this game. I think he has to show that he's legit, right? Let's show that them crazy numbers you got to start the season off with right now. That's not no fluke shit, and you can do that. But in the process of doing that, don't get yourself in trouble. And next thing you know, you done threw 4 or 5 interceptions in the game. Can you put up the numbers and still be efficient? That's what it comes down to. I do think he has to be more than a game manager this game. I think you have to put some, put some highlights on the field per se. All right, so let's talk about Shannon Sharp. What type of game? What type of game think he has to have?
You need to be able to win his matchups, um, find ways to give the football team problems, whether it be a safety or be a linebacker. Gotta make them find the right matchup, and he's also got to be a solid blocker, tackle on some of these DNs. Falk and Shamar Stewart. He's got to be able to help out a lot in the run game.
Yep. I agree 100%. I think he has to be this type of attitude Shannon Sharp has to come into, and the coach has to feel like this too. You put a linebacker on me, God bless you, right? You put a linebacker on me, you're going to pay for it, right? You bring down one of them safeties and put them in a box as a linebacker, sub package linebacker, you're going to pay for it. And if you put a cornerback on me, a slot corner on me, I'm going to bully him. You're going to pay for it. He got to play like that for this team to be successful. And I do think their passing game goes through him. Just because their quarterback isn't efficient enough, he really doesn't have it yet. He hasn't shown us that he can throw the ball in this league at all. I think that the best weapon for a quarterback is the tight end to get things going, especially in their style of offense, to get it going right now. So I do think Shannon Sharp has to be that guy on the field right now. He has to make us forget about a guy that we think that's having a great breakout year this year, in Deuce Robinson. So I like that. Now, as we continue to go down, we look at the Packers, Vikings, Browns, Saints. We talked about Eagles, Jaguars. Holy shit! Yo, Browns, tell Junior. I know you don't want to hear this right now, but you got to cut Keontae Ingram, the running back. That's the Titans running back. He got fired while he was on vacation after the draft, and the computer released his players, and we're getting them back right now. Keontae Ingram is his guy. Can you please release him for you to get him? And once you release him, Los, I know you're watching right now. Please get him right away. But nobody else signing, please. Thank you. And I'll take care of you, Junior. Don't worry about it. All right. This matchup is crazy right here. I like this matchup right here. Mm-mm. Who did the Eagles lose to? They lost to Texans 44-38. Ooh. So the Eagles took their first loss last week, and the Jaguars took their first loss the week before. Both of them took losses to playoff teams, so they were playing high-level opponents. In a game where it can go either way. But the Eagles are here. Eagles and Jaguars. Let's talk about this right now. Who are this year Jaguars? Max, I leave this question to you because you just played the Jaguars. Who is this year's Jaguars? Active coach? Who is this team? The identity of the Jaguars, what is it? For years it's been their running back, right? Is it still that? Is it the veteran Lamar Jackson? Is it a receiver in the building that's their guy? Tight end? Who are the Jacksonville Jaguars on offense?
I feel like it's still the running back.
Breece Hall?
Yeah, I feel like it's still the running back.
Still Breece Hall. Okay. So you played Breece Hall in this game in your game last week. Who's Breece Hall?
true through the gaps to me. A true runner that can run through all the gaps. Solid speed, like kind of like catch you off guard speed. Not really like a back that's afraid of contact. So he's there to initiate some of the contact a good amount of the time, but also able to do a couple of things out the backfield too to make you stay true to his game.
All right. Eagles. When we talk about the Eagles, you got Ennis, Stewart, the tight end Lockwood, and then a guy that we consider, or I consider, a top 5 passer in this league at quarterback, and that's DT, the Golden Child. You're big on Zeus, except for when you play him.
Of course.
How do the Eagles go into Duval and win this game?
I feel like the easy answer to me is don't get ahead of yourself. Establish the run game. These DBs in Duval can definitely play. And your best bet is to be able to establish a run game and not be too predictable as far as what you throw at that defensive back unit.
Let's say the Eagles decide they want to give their running back 15 carries this game, and they're coming there to throw the ball all over the defense of the Duval Jaguars. Are they stupid for trying to do that?
I ain't gonna say full on stupid because it's like that's kind of part of their game, but I wouldn't expect don't expect an easy win per se. Jaguars aren't an easy win at all, but don't expect a easier win going in there flinging that shit around the park.
Is it me, or did the Jacksonville Jaguars either trade it or drafted DBs? Let's stay there. DBs that were relatively unknown guys that probably wasn't even the best player on their teams, on their defenses coming out. They got names that aren't names, if that makes sense. And that secondary that they got playing at a high fucking level right now. They got 2 or 3 of them from Kansas State, and all of them playing high. I mean, Stubberfield at the safety position is relatively unknown to everybody. When I say that name, guys like, who? But he's been nothing short of one of the better safeties in the league for the last 2 years. They picked up Chase Lucas from you in a trade, and all he's done has shown that he is their number 1 corner over there, and he's a playmaker in that secondary. Not only can he lock you down, he can take the ball from you, and he can put it in the end zone. This secondary is sneaky good over there, and to me, if the Eagles get into a shootout with this team, they're in trouble. It's not going to be as comfortable as they would like it to be, but I do think Lamar at his stage and DT at his stage right now, I think DT is that guy, bro. I think he's really that guy, and he's throwing the top tier receivers. This team drafted top tier receivers when they didn't even think to need them. They just got them because nobody else got them. I think it was a mixture of didn't need receivers at the time and some of the size on them guys, But they drafted, Ennis, who was the number 1 receiver in his draft class. Stewart, who could arguably be the number 1 in his draft class. I keep harping on this because those guys are the offense of the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, when they're going, those 2 guys are having a great day. Open, man. What is that? All right. So let's look at stats and look at the Philadelphia Eagles and what they're doing this year. Welcome to PHILL. All right. Max, talk to me. Darren Thomas, once again, is throwing over 70% right now.
I like this. This is DT.
And
This is DT. Like, I've seen this for 8 years now, 7, now 8. So it's kind of like the offense has really never been the problem for Philly. So when I look at their numbers, it's like I'm impressed always because it's consistency, but it's more like I think the defense always has to catch up to the offense.
I'm talking about DT right now. 63
Yeah.
completions, 83 attempts, 75%, 360.3 yards a game. Quarterback only been sacked. And in the city of brotherly love, they come in the league talking shit like this.
L.A. period. P.A. period. They fearing it, but loving it though. I hate the game.
But I'm loving the dough. Let's go. I like this Eagles team. I think they are set up and they have the right players running around right now. You like Zeus? He got 44 carries. He's showing off 7 yards a pop. They still Travis Dye out of free agency, 7 carries, 55 yards. He got 7.98 yards a carry, and their quarterback has 8.5 yards a carry. So the run game is chipping over here right now. Then you look at the receiving game. Evan Stewart already has 24 catches, 6 touchdowns on the year. He's their true number one right now. Now, Ennis only got 9 catches, but he averaged 12.7. He's playing like the number 2 we expect him to see. We're going to think his number should go a little bit higher than that. And I do think he'll be a 1,000-yard receiver to add to Lockwood and Stewart. My question, too, is Kayshon Boutte finally arrived for Philadelphia? He's been here for a while, but he's been like, guys like, they draft and we expect them to be those dogs, and he wasn't. And he really never got his time to shine, and it seems like he's that number 3 receiver this year, with 25 yards a catch as well. This man got 3 touchdowns on the year. I think they look good in their passing game right now. Zeus is contributing in the passing game as well with 7 catches out the backfield for 14.6 yards a pop right now. They picked up Bunkley Shelton. I don't know how somebody let that guy. So they still an X factor in free agency sitting over here. And they got a couple of tight ends that's capable. I like this Eagles offense. What their front 7 look like. I mean, their front 5 look like on offense is the question. Can they hold up? Are these guys ready to take this team to the next level? Because they don't have a weapons problem, to me. It comes down to protection when it comes down to this team offensively. When you got a top 5 quarterback and a bunch of receivers that's making it do, they got an explosive offense right now. What will stop them from going into Duval and whooping Duval's ass?
Not being able to stop Lamar and Reese together. Not harping on some of the different kinds of weapons that the Jaguars have. They're not really one-sided on their weapons. They have a plethora of weapons. They all come in, different abilities and different capabilities on the field.
Lamar has thrown the ball at some points pretty much better than he has as a Raven in Jacksonville, in Duval. Now that he's home in Florida, he's comfortable. 71% right now, but this is what Lamar is supposed to look like. 205 yards, somewhere between 2 to 250 a game. Now, with that being said, their running back is their running back. They picked up a veteran, over there, Joey Cummings, to be able to back up Breece Hall. But we're looking at, I personally think, let me ask you this. Lamar hasn't really lost speed at 16 years in the league. He really hasn't lost speed. Because when he does drop, he has, points on him that he can bring you right back up. So he hasn't really lost speed. The guy's still the fastest guy in the league on paper, but just because he's 99 running right now, doesn't mean it looks like 99 running right now. I see the attributes still look the same, but on field he doesn't look like the same Lamar speed wise. But he's still fast enough to be a threat with the run game. And do you think that the Jaguars are underusing him as a runner?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
And, obviously age, slows you down running the football. You got to better play from the pocket a lot more. But I think Lamar still has enough in the tank that still wins as a runner in his league. He can still get it done, especially when, put it this way, at 30 plus nobody's spying Lamar no more. And I think Coach Shoguns in Jacksonville should be taking advantage of that. So I think, if Brees has 59 carries, he should have 25 right now, in my opinion. And if that happens, I think this offense takes the next step. And if they don't want to run Lamar Jackson, they got two capable running dual threat quarterbacks that can, come in for those moments. But they got a speed demon Slot who's leading their team in receptions right now and yards. 10, 249, 3 touchdowns. Sky Moore, another one of those slot speed demons, 11 catches, 113 yards. And then they got D True number one and Plex Barris over there. They just traded for Tavion Sanders from the Baltimore Ravens, and he's finally getting a chance to be a tight end number one in this league with 6 catches, 72 yards. They got weapons, bro. And quiet as kept, they got weapons that guys don't fear, that they could make you fear them if you don't fear them during game time. I know, I lost to this team, and I saw the capability of what these weapons can actually do to you in a moment of the game. When you got speed at the receiver position the way they do, things can get real scary over there. I like this matchup, Max. I don't know who to call at this point. We're gonna discuss it a little bit more, but they got weapons over here, and they got weapons that Eagles secondary got to worry about, especially when it comes down to the speed. When you look at the defensive side of things, again, I'm gonna yell out some names that we're not gonna really know about and that we should get to know about. Again, Stubberfield at the strong safety position gives them not only a captain on their defense, but it gives them a guy that's rangy, that can do a lot of things back there. 17, look, man, for a guy that's only playing deep, he can't come up and play sub linebacker for you. 17 tackles, he got a sack on the year and 2 interceptions. Speaks a lot. I don't even think there's another guy with an INT on this team. Yep, there we go. All right, so Ray John Wright, he had an interception on the team right now, but they got corners. Ishmael Abram is in his 3rd season. Lucas, we know what he can do over here. I like the secondary. Then you got another Kansas State guy that guys aren't paying attention to at all, and that's Russ Yeast from Kansas State. 7 tackles on the season. That's free safety right now. This team got a mixture of veterans on defense and young gunners on defense, that add up to guys that can really, get this team to the playoffs year in and year out. Lately it's came down to Houston and them to get in, and sometimes both got in. So let's get back to the matchup. Let's show the Eagles defense for a second, and let's see what they doing. Key Lawrence, 3 interceptions. Kobe Bryant with 2. Zion Branch with 2. They got Dawkins Jr. with 1. Alante Teller, who is their actual number 1 corner, with an INT. They're rangy. They got a DN with 1. They got Singletary. Remember, we talked about him yesterday. And then Khalil Ali. Now, on the flip side, the Eagles got guys that are known, top 2 to 3 guys at their position during their drafts when it comes down to their secondary. So they got a bunch of young, skilled guys that are still developing and still learning the game on the fly, but still playing at a high level right now. You like the matchups. Who has the better matchup? Do the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver core have a better matchup going into this game over the Eagles secondary, or is it vice versa? Eagles receivers have a better matchup over the Jacksonville Jaguars secondary? I think when that question is answered, we can better pick who we think winning this ball game. Um, and guys, this is not a question that's easily answered right now. So in my opinion, again, they got 2 different type of guys on their defenses, right? Again, the Eagles got guys that are known, top at their draft classes, top at their positions, and then they play well in their seasons, right? So you're looking at Ali, who was the number 1 or number 2 safety in last year's draft. Kobe Bryant, who was a really good corner in his draft class. Zion Branch was the number 1 safety in his draft class. In fact, he was the number 1 strong safety in his draft class. So we like it. I mean, they got names over there. If you continue to look at some of these names, the Eagles are in good hands right now. And then the Jaguars did it on the opposite side. They got guys that they made names. Um, I like this matchup. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say the Eagles win this ball game. I'm gonna say the Eagles beat the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. And I think it's because of the quarterback play. I love Lamar Jackson, but I think the Golden Child is more ready to win the ball game when they match up. So I'm going with the Eagles in this matchup here over the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think it's going to be a close game. So somewhere between 3 to 4 point win for the Philadelphia Eagles because they from PHILL period. Eve, I'm fearing it. Believe in it though. I hate the game. Fuck the fame, but I'm loving it though. All right, so we slide out of that matchup to the Eagles and the Jaguars. Then you got the Super Bowl matchup, rematch of the Buccaneers and the Baltimore Ravens. The Bucs travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens in the rematch. This is a big time game. This game always can go either way. I think the Bucs are coming off a loss, so I think they're going to come into this game definitely hungry for a win. And in their minds, they're going to feel like they need this win more than anything because you can't lose 2 games in the NFC and have home field advantage for the most part. Usually the guy that wins home field advantage went undefeated or only lost 1 game. And the Bucs already took their loss early. The good thing is they took their loss early. Usually when the Bucs lose the game, they run off wins after that. So that's not a good thing for us in Baltimore. This matchup is really crazy. We got 2 really good quarterbacks in this game. We got 2 really good offenses in this game. Now, I don't know how much I know the Ravens have 2 new starting offensive linemen. I think the Bucs drafted really good offensive linemen. Are they starting them is the question. Um, but the Ravens, their front 7 defensively is just fucking retarded. But the Bucs, man, they have one of the most aware teams in the league, man. These guys play. They are smart football players. They are intelligent football players. They have great play rec, great awareness at every position. They're equipped to be able to do the things they do and do it right. This team does not come outside of who they are, and because of that, they play their scheme very well and at a high level any given Sunday. So you're looking at two teams that match up very well on paper. And to be honest, lately the Bucs have had the Ravens number. So this game is important to both teams, I would think. Flat out, I mean, I would think it's a statement game for the Baltimore Ravens, and it's a must-win game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it comes down to whoever doesn't turn the ball over. And guess who's better equipped for that? And that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they're already used to not turning the ball over. You don't have to go dissect with players at all. It comes down to what team comes to play, what team has the ball last, what team makes the less mistakes, and what defense steps the most. You're looking at 2 of the top tier defenses in this entire league, and it's been that way for a while now. But at the same time, this game could get ugly. The Ravens can make it ugly. The Bucs can make it ugly, and it can happen. So if they don't come to play and show off and show out, I don't know who wins this ball game. But I think it's going to be fireworks and it's going to be a must-see game. I do like the Browns and the Saints game more. I think that's more of a game of the week because the both of them being 3-0. That's more exciting than seeing the Bucs Ravens play this early, right? Now, Titans Raiders. Both teams coming off a loss. Both teams need this win big time, in my opinion. Chargers, 49ers, not going to really see much. Cardinals, Chiefs, Panthers, Rams. The Panthers are off to a big start running the football right now. Nobody has more carries than their running back right now. And when they're running the ball, the Panthers are really at their best. So this is not a team you say, man, they're running the ball way too much. They have to run the fucking football because that's their identity. The question is, can they throw off that run? And it's the same, same conversation. Can they throw off that run? The Broncos are home versus the Seahawks. The Seahawks, Seahawks are looking to take another step this year and get back to it. And the Broncos are showing who they are. Simple as that. They've made the changeover since their two Super Bowls, their back-to-back Super Bowls they played in. They made the changeover. Their roster had to change. They drastically put it back together. I think at this point now they're comfortable with what they have, and they're continuing the process to being back to top five. The bottom line, he ain't go nowhere as a top five coach, but like top five team that can get to a Super Bowl and win it. Right, they're that team now. I think they're back in place for that right now. Lions Texans, I like this matchup big time because the Texans just came off a big one over the Eagles, and they're coming up against a team that has had a win this year who dominated last year. Trap game for the Texans. I think the Lions can come into this game and win it because it's a trap game. I think the Texans, because these guys are really good friends, coaches are really good friends, they know each other, they're going to play the game on that level, but I think the Texans will be lax a little bit in this game. And any slip-ups, the Lions will be right up your ass, no homo. All right, Giants, Colts. I think that, Giants got to continue to just, just to win and win big. All right, they're coming off a big-time win against their rival, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got to continue to do it. Dolphins, Jets, right here. All right, so the Dolphins are in a situation where they can run it up, not run the score up. What I mean is they're coming off of, being able to put Mike McCune back in the race as the best young rookie receiver right now over the Titans. He must have went crazy in that game. In fact, I'm a little mad because I know low secondary is really good, and I kind of wanted him to shut him the fuck down, even though White Mike my boy, and that's my guy, Mr. Ballin with the Guru, famous White Mike, I mean. But the Dolphins said he's in good hands. I care that he's going to have a good year because he's in the Dolphins offense. But I don't want to see this shit in one game. God damn it. Come on, Los. You can't let this happen, man. You don't just let this guy have a all-pro game, a Pro Bowl game, 13 catches, 189 yards. He force-feeded the fuck out of him. 4 touchdowns in this game. 14. For a guy that should blow the top off your defense, for him to only have 14.5 yards a catch, he just want to get him the ball. He trying to win stats with him. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to fuck yourself in the end because don't forget about winning. That's all I'm going to say. Winning games is more important than the stats, right? You go ahead and chase him all year long and fuck around, drop a game or two that you wasn't supposed to. Good luck with that. Go ahead and keep running it up right now. You and the Saints right now. Just know Pistol Ward is on y'all ass, no homo. He ain't going nowhere, too. I'm telling you right now. But my boy went off 13 catches, 189 yards. White Mike, 4 touchdowns right now. Max, he throwing it better than you would have been able to do it with him. You probably wouldn't even have 6 catches with him yet. But, bitch. Now, the Jets is going to play man-to-man, and they blitzing the fuck out of you, and they're going to run power on offense, right? And if that shit working, Dolphins, and you can't stop that run game, you're gonna have a long day for a half. And then after that, they're going to make a mistake or two, and then it's going to be lights out. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. All right, so I'm predicting the Dolphins win this game, and I think White Mike has somewhere between 12 to 15 catches in that game for 230, 250 yards and 4 touchdowns again. I think he'll have a big day because they are playing man-to-man, and if you can't, the Dolphins know what the fuck he's doing on offense. They have a skill set in the passing game that's really good, and if you don't know what you're doing to stop it, you're going to be in trouble. And man-to-man ain't the answer all the time, and that's what's going to happen in New York. New York, they're going to be playing man all the time. Like, this the type of game where he's going to play man so much, but because you could beat him, nobody's going to hit me and say, yo, unless he's losing. Unless he's losing the game, then they going to complain. That's the funny shit how niggas is, right? Winning and losing. The Jets is lining up and playing man-to-man the whole fucking game, and I haven't seen one person DM me and say, yo, man, you ran the same defense. I need my draft pick. Not one person. Why? Because you don't respect this game. You don't care that he's playing man to man because you know you can win that ball game. Not you, young Camden. This is just everybody, right? Especially when guys be breaking the shit out of their play calling rules. I mean, literally breaking the shit out of their play calling rules. Bad. All right. Late night, I'm still conversating because I'm still alive. It's still alive. Super geese. Now let's go see what happens stat wise right now. Who your top 10 at each position at each situation right now in the NFL? We're looking at right now. Jeff Sims is the number one quarterback through passing yards this year. Harper's number two, Trigger Man. Khalid Williams is number three. Nico, I am Aliva. I am Believe Me. Ray Wills is right here at number five. Dante Moore, the new quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, is sitting at 6. Anthony Iverson is at 7. Jaden Daniels is at 8. DT, the Golden Child, is at 9. Derek King is at 10. That's your top 10 passing yards leaders right now in the league right now. Okay, when it comes down to touchdowns, that leader is Khalid Williams with 20. Sims with 19. Trigger Man with 18. I'm a Believer with 16, Anthony Iverson 14, 12 for Bryce Young, 11 for DT, and then you got a tie at 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. A tie at 8 with, nope, 8 is DT, and then a tie at 9 with Wills, Daniels, and King, all with 10 apiece. What quarterback is donating the most? 19 from Malik Willis. Demetrius Davis with 14. Jason Butterfield 13. Ugalele with 11. And Cunningham with 10. In the run game right now. First of all, let's see the carries. Evan Pryor has now jumped over Jalen Knighton in carries with 90. Now, Evan Pryor had played one more game than Jalen Knighton. But I don't know if Max is still alive. But 90 and 87 carries from our top two running backs as far as carry guys right now. How do you feel about that, fellas? In fact, do anybody have a problem with two running backs in 3 games with almost 100 carries? The rookie of the year, Ruben Owens, 72 carries. J.C. Fields, 66 powers. Gavin Sawchuk with 60 carries as well. Oh my God. I gotta see that. Laughing out loud, my ass. Nigga out here running it up. RO. You gonna say who open, and then as soon as you get over there, you ain't gonna pick a fucking team. Knock it off, Hollywood. All right, Evan Pryor, 584 rushing yards, 6.5 yards a carry. Jalen Knighton got 476 with 5.5 yards a carry. RO got 460 with 6.4 yards a pop. Christian Harris, the league rusher last year, 349. He's averaging 11.3. This guy has 31 carries. He's literally averaging 11 yards a carry right now. Zeus got 310, 7 yards a carry. Bruce Hall has 309, 5.2 yards a carry. And then you're looking at Katron Allen, 294 with 8.9, so he's averaging 9 yards a game right now. And then there's B. John Robinson with 33 carries, and he's averaging 8.4, 278 yards a pop. I think that's your top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. All right, so J.C. Fields at 9, 276, 4.2. And then Jarrett Gibson, the young diaper dandy, with 55 carries, 261 yards, 4.7. There's your top 10. Touchdown makers. 13 for Evan Pryor, 9 for R.O. R.O. really the truth, man. I don't think guys realize that they found their third running back. I mean, when you got 3 running backs and you're successful with those 3 running backs, man, just pass the torch. It's almost like the relay race, right? And this guy right here is the anchor. 6.4 yards a pop, 9 touchdowns, 153.3 yards a game. Evan has 146 yards a game. Walter Payton he got 24 carries, 5 touchdowns. Okay, Zeus got 5 touchdowns. Walker with 5. Brian Robinson Jr. with 5. Amarion Hampton with 4. Ruggs with 4. All right, so catches on the season so far, 36 from White Mike. Stankin Franklin with 31 catches. Amari Clark with 30 of them things. Then there's the kid, E.S., we're going to call him S.T. Stewart. Yes, sir, my guy. 24 catches on the year. Deuce, DR2. You're familiar with that nickname, DR2 with 23 catches. First tight end, only tight end up here right now. Sims found this guy, Wyman, the best receiver in the league. Still, I don't care what anybody else is doing, he's the best receiver in the league. 22 catches. Marvin Mims, 21. Addison, 21. And watch out for Pistol, for PW. Watch out for him. Jalen Knighton is a monster over there for the Panthers. He is 90% of their offense right now. Keenan Stockton, 20 catches right now. 6'2", 186. That must have been a Jets player. Yep. He always stealing somebody, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yep. How you let him go? Come on, Brian. You can't just made this nigga for you last year. Look at him. Well, Chris Poole, move over. They found their new receiver through free agency. Snagged him right away. All right, so that's the yards. Now the touchdown makers right now we're looking at White Mike with 9. Christian Watson with 9, Stankin Franklin with 8, his counterpart, his partner in crime, Amari Clark with 8. The 2, what we gonna call them something? If they have another good game after we advance, I'm gonna give these 2 guys a nickname. Pistol with 8, Evan Stewart with 6, Weidman with 6. Velus Jones, man, for the fucking Raiders is playing at a high level right now. He got 6 of them things. And then Stockton, Deion Smith with 5. I think that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. On a button. All right. DeMarvion Overshawn, the Wolverine with 32 tackles on the year. Cordell Flock. You got Jeremiah Wilder in the middle. Brad Hawkins, 31, can't stand up. Damon Davis, the user, with 30. Darian Beavers, the old Baltimore Raven, with 30. Devin Ward, the Terminator, with 30. They get into it. Quay Walker, Lance Newman. Mostly computer guys is going to be on the guys that haven't played their games yet. But then Christian Irons with 24 tackles. Aubrey Miller with 23. Jordan Battle, 22. Sheridan, is that Sheridan? Yes, it is. All right. Tackle for loss, my favorite defensive stat. Elliot Donald right now is leading that, balling out 9. Make sure where my other boy at? So you see how they don't show stats right now, man? So right now the Baltimore Ravens, both of their D tackles are leading the league in tackle for losses. You got Taiwan Malone, Jet Black from the linebacker position with 5. Nicholas Pearl Harbor with 5. Benito with 5, Spillman. Now all those Giants that have been traded are actually having great careers. Where they at when they somewhere else right now? So I will give Max credit for that. You know, I used to say that all the time. Ravens all over the league shitting. Now it seems like the Giants are all over the league shitting. Young diaper dandy Edwin Spillman. So we got 2 linebackers from the Saints. Saints playing good football right now, man. With tackle for losses, Miles Murphy 5, and then Demarion Tolan coming with 5 right now as well. Sacks right now, who are leading that league? Edwin Spillman 7, Barno 7, 6 from Peter Woods, Curtis Jacobs with 6, and Angelo Falk with 6. Trayvon Walker 5.5, Aiden Hutchinson 5, George Kalifdis 5, Don't forget these guys. They balling too. 4.5, 4.5, 4. Corey Foreman. That's a big time name right there too. Aubrey Miller leading the league in INTs right now with 4. Jalen Petrie, 4. Davison Igbino's son. I'm gonna say this right. Igbino's son, 4. Honey Mayo, 3. Kyle Hamilton, 3. Toland, 3. Derek Stingley with 3. Zach Holiday with 3. He going in year 10. He about to been in the league for a decade. Let's give him a shout out. As you know, he's been doing it for a long time, man. He's been one of the best corners in the league for a long time. Demond David, he's the user of 3 picks. Breeston from the sub package, 3. You got Raheem Ross, young gunner, stepping up with 3 picks right now. Kadeem Wagner, Woolen, Sands gets down to 2. Let's make sure we ain't missing nobody. 4 from Pittsburgh. Cool there. How about NFC? Miss anybody? 3. Key Lawrence wasn't there. He got 3. All right, cool. I like that Key Lawrence ball, and that's what's up. All right, deflections. This either goes as a guy that just batting shit down, or they drop interceptions. I know. My freshman year in college, I had 9 interceptions and 15 pass breakups. And those 15 pass breakups was my dumb ass dropping the ball. Simple as that. I don't know how I wasn't one of those. Oh, you play corner or DB because you can't catch. I wasn't that. So that shit bothers me when you get deflections. They not picks that you should have had. I mean, they are picks that you should have had. Brad Hawkins got 4. Make sure that's what it is. Okay. Hey, cousin. Balling right now. For Kobe Bryant. Did we see Kobe Bryant name up there? Nope, we didn't. So I'm glad I went there. Kobe Bryant for the Eagles with 4. Marquise Wilson with 4. And Marion Cooper with 4. Darion Kendrick with 4 as well. Let's go to the AFC. 4. And Tyreek Bracy with 4 as well. All right, cool. Back to NFL. Who forcing fumbles? Tylon Shazier, 2. All right, so the Buccaneers are linebacker U in a sense, man. They plug and play. And guys play for a long time. Come on, Devin White been around for so long, and he dominated. And when they passed the torch off, they had guys that they had to figure out who's going to be that guy, and Tylon Shazier is that guy. I think he's the next great Tampa Bay Buccaneer linebacker. And the forced 2 fumbles right now. Bubba Bolden hitting guys from back deep. So he's getting a 7 to 14 yard head start when he comes screaming down. He ain't just, warping tackling you with his guy. He fucking lighting you up as well. Michael Clemens, just picked up in free agency for the Cowboys, and he got 2 of them things. Bugsby Smith, ex-Cowboy, now turned Raider. He got 2 of them things. And I think both those came in our game. He made my quarterback fumble twice. AFC, let's make sure we're not missing nothing. 2, and 2. Cool. Yep, Inani White, we didn't see that up there. Defensive end from Texas A&M with 2 forced fumbles. In the NFC, we're looking at Tylon Shazier, Michael Clemens, and that's about it. Look at Jay Thomas, old veteran ass. All right, and now the last stat of defense are touchdowns. Kyle Hamilton leads the league with 2. Let's make sure that's true. Yep. When you look at the NFC, you see Jalen Armour Davis traded to the Seahawks to move from 11 to 3, and Jalen has an INT to the crib. I think that is right. That's an interception. Was that an interception? 94 yards. Yep. Pick to the crib, and not only did he pick it, he took that thing 94 of them things. So I know Hitter is a proud daddy at this point right now, man. Look, I sent my guy off, and he got the longest interception return this year. So thus far, 94. It's gonna be hard to top. There's something about them free safeties in Baltimore. They take shit back to the crib. Let's take a look and see his career returns so far. Let's see so far. All right. We took 4 back last year, 2 the year before. Before that, he wasn't a Baltimore Raven. Before that, yes, he was. When he had 6 picks his first season, he came over halfway point though. All right, shit going to the grenade. Take shit to the grenade. Cornerback tandems. Let's start with Baltimore. Cornerback 1 and 2 for the Baltimore Ravens. Derek Stingley, Travis Hunter are 1 and 2. Um, and they come down to 3 deep. Jalen Jones. Is Derek Stingley and Travis Hunter the best tandem cornerbacks in the league? Saints, they up and coming. Jada Barron, and I would say Hameen Anderson. They're young and they up and coming. I like these two. Damn, I forgot they had Elijah Clark over there, man. What's up with him? Make it shake, baby. Seahawks. Young corners. They got Jalen David Armour and they got young Raheem Ross. Give them some time together. Steelers. I think you got to look at Malik Red, and then after that, Rudy McDaniel was like, they're not in the conversation. But Rudy Franklin being hurt right now. How many games is his 10-year? And this is 10-year anniversary. How many games he's hurt for? How many games he out for? Why I can't see it? Oh, there we go. Torn labrum out for 2 more weeks. But I do like this tandem. Rudy Franklin and Eli Ricks. I like that tandem. I think they are 2 of the top echelon guys right now. I don't think they're better than Hunter and Stingley right now. And mark my words, Stingley will have 12 to 17 interceptions this year. I think he's ready to make that jump right now. Let's go look at Stingley right now. He's starting off. I thought he had 4. He got 3 right now. Stingley came in as a rookie on a really loaded secondary already. As a rookie from the slot, got 7 picks. Then he barely played in his second season and his third season. And then he came back as a full-time starter and finally got the number 1 spot. 5, 8, 6, and 3, but he's never had double-digit interceptions right now. So I could argue that I want to say Stingley and Hunter together are the best tandem in the league, but I don't think Stingley numbers prove it. I think we could find 2 corners on one team that have two guys that's been double digits. You know what I'm saying? So I think right now 6 picks last year. His best season was 8-6. He on course right now 3 games. I think Stingley has to have a breakout year this year. We have to have double digits before we looking at the number 1 corner. His draft class looking like he underachieved a little bit. Hunter had that breakout season, and he had it last year. Let's look at what Hunter did. They made a promise to him if he has 15 interceptions, they'll move him to receiver. 8 picks in year 1, 9 in year 2, 12 in year 3. So the trajectory looks like he should have, more interceptions than he had the year before. So he's really, really balling, and he's been balling, going up like really crazy. All right, so shout out to that. Now let's get back to it. We left off with the Texans. The Titans got a secondary out this world. Dijon Warren. Is it Warren and Gilmore, or is it Warren and Ringo? Pick your poison when it comes down to them. Dijon Warren to me is, he was the number 1 corner in his draft. Number 2, because Keely Ringo was the number 1 corner in that draft class. Let's look at Dijon Warren and see what he's done so far. I heard he's about to get a contract too. 4, 10, 5, 7. He got 1 right now. He's balling. He asking for a contract. He want a contract negotiation extension. He don't like the numbers they gave him. You know, he already signed the contract already. He on his 5th-year option. He not trying to hear that shit. He want that bread. So the Titans are in the situation. Yeah. Pay that man before he be on somebody else's team. Better pay that man. I don't know. Ringo just came over from the Cardinals a year ago. Travis Gilmore came over from his first the Saints, Giants, then to him. This is another guy that the Giants get to be like, yo, Giants all over the league shitting. Is he really? He had 9 picks last year too. 5, 7, all with Tennessee. He did have 6 picks in New York. So his best play has been with the Tennessee Titans, 7, 5, 9. I like it. So you can go either him or Ringo. I would think they got really good corners over there. Vikings, Eli Berry, Cordell Flott. Need to be proven. Need to be proven. Need to be proven. All right, who is it? Isaac Taylor Stewart, Kaylan Barnes, Junior Levine. Now Levine's been here for a while. How we like this tandem? Let's see what they get out of him. I do know Isaac Taylor Stewart. We loved his play. The way he played with him is pretty solid. No homo. All right. Little guy numbers ain't really there. Kaylan Barnes, 7, 6 in the last 2 years. Yeah, he did have a 9 season. I mean, 5, 7, 9. You could probably flirt him with Stingley right now. They got good numbers right now. Isaac Taylor Stewart, he does a lot. This is what makes Isaac Taylor Stewart a dog. Because he's a fucking dog and he's only on star. He still hasn't. I mean, you know how many gifts and upgrades he could have put. He's never used it on him. That means he trusts this player. And then the fact of the matter is, I appreciate you playing in the league and not worrying about nothing and having this guy play as a dog. And to me, he earned it. Now, let's look at his numbers. Again, I mean, look at this. 5, 5, 8, 4, 10, 7 last year. Coming off a 10 performance year. I don't know how they don't jump up 7-2 right now. Ball. I just tell the story. Is he the number 1 corner on their team, though? Then you gotta look at the sacks. 3.5, 2.5, 5, 6.5, 9. I mean, shit. Year 1, 13.5, 9, 6.5, 5, 2.5, 3.5. I mean, he's an athlete. He play all over the place. This is how you use a guy that has very, very, very good talent. He's one of the fastest guys to come out of the draft, period. And he's one of the best athletes in the draft. And he's the 3rd corner on their team. But he does so much because he draws attention where he has to cover the best tight ends in the league. I know because I play him, and he will lock him on my tight end in a heartbeat. He comes off that edge and get to the quarterback. He can play in the run game. As you can see, he tackles 69, 80, 65, 69, 73, 81. So he's a real slot demon. Is he the best slot corner in the league? Can we make that argument that Isaac Taylor Stewart, ITS, might be the best slot corner in the league? Is he? I don't know. Broncos got some young gunners coming up right now. His nephew, Danny Martin, Bobby Teller, and Massey. We like this cornerback room, but we can't call them the top 2 corners in the league. Now, Denton and Island can make a good tandem this year. We like it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know Zach Holliday has been one of the best tight corners in the league. Who comes in with him? Is Grimes ready to make it? Well, let's look at Grimes for a second because this was the next best thing. He was a high draft pick for him. Well, not a high draft pick because he's always at the back of the draft, but he was a high corner. He was one of the fastest corners in the draft, if not the fastest, his draft class. Let's look at his stats, see what he's done. And that decent. All right, so over the last 3, 7, 6, and 8. And man, I think he balling out right now. I mean, Josh Jobs got a late start. Like he sat the bench for a long time over here. and Tampa Bay, but that's what Tampa Bay do with its players. A lot of these guys come out and they just sit until they're ready to play. And we know, arguably, in his ninth season at 29 years old, Zach Holiday has been one of the better corners in the league. 7, 2, 4, 6. And then when he was asked, because during these years, he wasn't asked to be the guy yet. But then, as maybe this year, right here, I would say this year, you kind of look at the numbers and see, like, all right, this was the starting year where he's the number one corner over here, right? 6 picks, 10, 10, 16, 10. I don't know if he could double digit it one more time. Boy, is this the best cornerback in the league? Over the times, over a 9-year career, my man Zach Holiday out of Florida State, is this the best corner in the league? I mean, some of these seasons you got to go back to here and that season, and that playoff, and that Super Bowl. He had the pick that won the game. Like, I mean, he got some stories that he's gonna better tell his nephews or his grandchildren and shit. He's gonna better tell them stories on how he dominated the league. We like them, but I don't know if they got the tandem to really call the best two corners in the league. Now, Castro Fields, Kamari Rogers, prime time, they don't have it either. Not saying they don't got great corners, but they don't have the argument. I mean, Steve Israel over here. How do we get rid of him? Not fair, bro. We're not supposed to give up guys like that. Chiefs, Joshua Williams is here. They lost the brother. They lost the Rudy brother. I mean, on somebody else's roster. The Colts, they're young in their secondary. The Cowboys, Andrew Booth, Elam, Jalen Watson, Rhyme. I like Jadarian Rhyme. The Cowboys got a crazy secondary because half these guys can play anywhere else they want, pretty much. They got a legit. Now, I do like this. I like this tandem. I think they've been playing really good since they've been in the league. They only got 3 years and 4 years, right? So this would be his 4th season. This would be his 5th. But let's look at what they've done. They've changed the dynamics of the Miami Dolphins secondary. They changed their defense. Again, I'm going to harp on this. When they were at their best, they had 2 shutdown corners. I think they are back at that right now, and these 2 guys are absolutely off the chain. 5 in his rookie year, 13-9. I mean, he's having a fucking great start of a career right now. He earned the right to be called a shutdown cornerback, flat out. Now, we know they're not a man-to-man team. We understand that. So, he's like, you know who he remind me of? Because they don't really play man. He's Asante Samuels. That's who he remind me of. I'm going to shut my side of the field down. As simple as that. I'm going to shut my side of the field down. This is a great start to a career right here. Deuce Chestnut. And then his partner in crime that was there before him. Now, Deuce is the best corner on their team. But this kid he was the start of changing their situation around right now. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they got 2 of the better corners in the league right now. Tandems right now. All right now. The only thing I'm going to say is, they're not really known as a man-to-man team, but these guys shut their side of the field down. I mean, 6, 6, 6, 8. I like these 2 guys. I like them a lot, man. I think, might be, as so far the teams I looked at, they might have the second best. I think we still in front of them. I think they got the second best tandems. I mean, I dare somebody to make an argument against it. They drafted little ass Austin Waters this year. That's Anthony Israel's clone. That was the Waters in draft 1 of Game of Thrones that I drafted and changed into AI. But Austin, 5'10", 195, he's that clone, 98, 98. They drafted a speed demon, Earl Little, the year before. They got some good corners over here, man. Jacquez Robinson sitting in the building is another one of their guys. I like their cornerback room. All these guys are drafted by them. And that's how it's supposed to look. There you go. Now, Philadelphia, I'm from. Listen, man. The Eagles, to me, got a Super Bowl roster, man. Somebody argue with me that they don't. Make the argument.
We from Phila period, PA period. Eve they hearing it, believe they fearing it, but loving it though. I hate the game, fuck the fame, but I'm loving it though. You couldn't tell me in the milk.
It's Eagles team, man. I don't know. I like their cornerbacks. I don't. I mean, Taylor and Bryan together, solid. But Daniels had, he do a lot in that slot. But I'm not going to say they got, two tandems that I can trust yet. Where I'm looking at them like, oh my god, they got 150 corners over here. But I am liking Sheridan Jones and Quincy and Kool-Aid. I'm not even gonna call him outside of his name. I'm liking Kool-Aid and Sheridan Jones. I'm gonna dive into them. Let's take a note and see what we're seeing here. 6, 10, and 0. No picks this year. But before that, Connor wasn't really getting nothing done over there. Sheridan, but he wasn't a starter. He was always, fourth corner. These are the fourth corner years. And then all of a sudden, starter. 89, 4, 10, 72, 6, 22 tackles, no picks right now. Been in the league for, 6 seasons, or 5. He's playing a 6th season right now. And then we know he was one of the top. He came out in the Kool-Aid draft. In the Dijon Warren draft, the Keely Ringo draft, 9, 6. Got 2 right now. He's balling. And these guys play man to man. They're man to man guys right now, so they do play a lot of man to man. And then they got, Demarius McGay, who's stepping up, or McGee, whatever you want to call it. He's starting to step up with that slot guy right now. And then there's the Niners, Samuels and Cooper. They team up to make a good duo, but not squeeze that. How about these Giants? I don't think the Giants have a tandem yet. I think they just got solid good corners. They traded for Bobby Taylor from the Baltimore Ravens, who's a fucking monster slot corner right now. And he's in the NFC giving guys problems right now at that slot corner. Dog. Harmon, Deuce, you call him Deuce, 22 for sure. Phillips and Blades. My problem is, Blades. I don't know about Blades. He don't stand out to me. Phillips is, Clark Phillips is for Clark Phillips. And Harmon plays in that slot. They got dogs at corner, but I don't know if they got great tandem over there. We know Chase Lucas is a monster, but no tandem here as either. Jets, no. Lions, Sauce Garner, they lost their tandem. I think their next guy to step up right now is Jaden Cheek, or Kamani McLean, who was the number 1 corner a draft ago. Man, look at the attributes on this kid. He ready to fucking go. How about Sauce Gardner, man, being the second best corner in the year one's World Draft? Let's see. Has he been playing at a high level or not? 13 picks as a rookie, 6'4", and then he fell off. But is that due to, Yeah, I like your corners. I just don't think you got tandem yet. We know Chris Samuels is a shutdown. Who else outside of him though that we could call top tandems in the league? But I'm looking at Sauce Garner and want to know why his numbers dropped tremendously. Is it because he's not being targeted, or he's just not stepping right now? I'm confused on these numbers right now. He started off great, and then he's been steady. Now, is it so we know you're shut down. But what's going on, Sauce? We need some answers over there. Packers. Panthers. Now, we got to look at the Panthers because, the Panthers drafted some sneaky corners where we didn't have first round grades on him, but yet he drafted him in the first round and he played balls football. All right, Chase Bailey, you know that's Champ's son. Yeah, okay. But Marquise Wilson was a first round drafted player that I didn't think should have went in the first round, and all he did was draft him. And not bad. All right, that's about it. Can't really argue there. Patriots, no conversation. Raiders, they got a tandem going on right now with McDuffie and Abe Bino's son, right? They got 2.2 studs right now, so he's breaking out for. And McDuffie was up there for something last year. Look at 4, 7, 8, 7, 14, 4, 1, 2. All right. I'm from PHI and the Rams. Isaiah Bolden's at the state. Why he only gonna start, I don't know. That's not fair. That's Isaiah Bolden. Florida State transfer to Jackson State. He should be on ability. Stop playing with my boy like that. It's bullshit. And we're done. All right, for y'all that stayed up late with me tonight, I appreciate that, man. Now, here's how this goes. If you're still watching, right now, hit the like button. Screenshot that like button. Send it to Max. Do not hit us 24 hours later thinking like, yo, I'm not doing it. If he ain't responding to you, it's because you missed it. And if he ain't respond to you, don't think you can hit me and get me to respond and do something because you didn't do your thing. Again, this is a gift show. Send your like, hit the like button, screenshot it, send it to Max, the Giants coach, and I'll check in with y'all later. Other than that, appreciate y'all for the night. And we got some good football games coming up tomorrow. Oh, before I forget, we gotta pick the game. Pick the game, John. Browns, Lions. You guys need to. I'm going to sit here for a second because you gotta post your winner in the comment section, right? Browns, Lions. Who y'all got? Jaguars, Eagles. Who y'all got? Two pick 'em games. Browns, Saints, Jaguars, Eagles. Pick 'em. And if it's not in the main chat,
I'm the only one who liked it gold.
I'm picking mine right now. I'm going with Browns and Eagles. Browns and Eagles.
Browns and Eagles.
I just picked the Browns and the Eagles. That's my pick the winner gift.
Saints and Eagles. Saints and Eagles.
Oh shit. Saints and Eagles. Browns and Eagles. Saints and Eagles. Saints and Eagles. Let me hit that like button. How many like buttons is hit? I don't know. I don't see none. So far, 0 hit. That means I'm the only one that did it. Screenshot this bitch.
Hit the like button, fuckers.
Let's go. Fellas, while we waiting for guys to finish, picking their winners and shit, we got some really good young receivers this year, man. That's balling the hell out right now, man. Is it safe to say the wave has changed when it comes down to, the normals? Guys, we usually say, Malachi Wideman, he's still having a start of a good season right now. Those numbers are ridiculous, but We having some weapons right now. How about Jamison Williams only has a touchdown on the season with 3 catches. But this guy is averaging 40.7 yards a pop. The tight end with 29.5. Jackson Smith Njigba, man. Maybe we might trade him. It's starting to phase out of our offense. Maybe we might trade him. I don't know. Ooh, 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 ooh. Saints going crazy with 2 receivers. Tell my boy JoJo early. 9 catches, 252, 28 yards a pop, 3 teats. Shelton Sampson Jr., 12, 204, 24 yards, 18.7, 3 touchdowns. John Woods, who else? Steelers, Texans. I mean, they got some speed demons over there. Is this the new go deep guy? Taking Fort. I mean, Antonio Gates Jr. over here. Look at this rookie right here, man. God damn. Oh my God. You know, I want, yo, man, trade him, bro. Trade him to me or Buffalo. Is Thornton hurt? No, he's back in it. 7 years in the league. They got my boy Isaiah Likely. I should trade for him. They're Baltimore Ravens, Titans. Tim Israel still around. Balling. Only been in the league 9 years. Titans. First Larry Allen catches. Bill Stockton. And Likely, right. 20 catches, 380 yards, 5 touchdowns. McLean, like him. You got Hudson Wolf over here. Hakeem Williams. You got. How you get my boy Abdul Fatih Abraham? Damn, bro. Niggas be letting niggas go, boy. Oh my God. Marvin Harrison Jr., David Bell, that Daniel Jones, Bell, tight end, Watermeyer. That's how it's supposed to look. Addison, Wheatley, Keys, Peyote, Conyers, Bucks with Thad Woodbury back in play this year. 16 catches, 353 yards, 3 touchdowns. Brew McCoy, 16 for 326. Jaleel Ruggs, 13 out of the backfield for 183. Jeremy Rucker, a tight end, 10 for 179. 2 touchdowns. What's going on with Nathaniel this year? Nathaniel Joseph, 8 catches, 164 yards, only 1 touchdown a year, 54.7 yards a catch. I mean, he had a fucking amazing season last year. What's the fall off this year? What's going on with my boy Nathaniel? Malachi White, man, I want to see something from him. I mean, the kid don't got to catch at all this year. Like, come on. I mean, send him to me then if you ain't going to use him. What the fuck? You gotta use these guys, bro. Don't draft my high school football, my high school quarterback. Both of them. Mike McKeown played quarterback my sophomore year. He was the starting quarterback, and Eric Mahoney was my starting quarterback every year in high school, freshman, except for junior year. He was a receiver, All-American receiver, and then senior year he went back to quarterback. Dog. And then went to college, started for the University of Rutgers. Dog. But Wyman Gilbert, Downs. Come on, fuck, ain't using my guy. And we do got a 6'7" guy over here. 15 catches at receiver. Chiefs, Kellen, young stud. Speed demon. Garrett Wilson. The coach got Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son. Chad Johnson Jr. at receiver. They got Michael Myers. They just drafted Landon Thomas this year. They got Zaquandre White, Zeus's little cousin, and that's real life shit. And they got Beckham Cruz. Don't know who that is. Cowboys. Jeremiah McClure. He's gonna be a problem at 6'6", 220 pounds. Jesus Christ. Brenning Stool. Oh my God. Is we gonna see a Ronnie Bell sighting this year? Or is the RO show? And then White Mike. Motherfucking White Mike. White Mike going yard. Alright, I gave y'all enough time to pick y'all winners. Ant hits the franchise guru late night show. Balling with the Guru series is gonna come back out. And we're out of here. I'll let y'all tomorrow or later on today. We're gone. Now how do I stop this new shit on the 5? There we go. Got it.